Hey, welcome back to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. On this episode, I'm going to talk about some of these wonderful books, the DC Comics Compact Comics range, which I've developed a bit of a thing for lately, because they are quite marvelous. Now, these are classic, modern classic stories from across the DC Comics pantheon, and they are presented in a smaller format. Not only is the format smaller, so is the price, and they are brilliant. These are a great entry point for new fans to discover some of the classic stories from DC Comics. They are a great way for old fans to reconnect with some of those, and if you've already got some of them in your collection, you may want to replace them with these smaller ones, take up less space, but these are a great idea for every fan, new or old, I would say. With graphic novels being quite expensive when they're in like the normal premium format with the glossy paper, in the nice big covers and the oversized formats and things like that, they can be quite pricey. But these, like this one here, one of my recent ones, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which a lot of the new movie, the Supergirl movie starring Millie Alcock and Jason Momoa and so on, is based on. It's like 20 quid, around that sort of price. These are $8.99. These retail like $8.99. In Forbidden Planet, anyway, they do differ a little online, up and down some of those prices. You might be able to get some cheaper on Amazon and so on, but they're around like the £8.99, £8 price point, and that's fantastic. They are not on glossy paper, but they are in full colour, and they literally are the entire graphic novels, just reduced down, sliced slightly, and this makes it possible to check out things that you've not before. There's a lot of classics in the range, like Dark Knight Returns. There's Long Halloween and Hush, like great Batman stories. I've got one of the Batman ones here. In fact, the first one I picked up was the Court of Owls saga, which I never actually finished reading in the single issues. It also makes it possible to check out stuff that you may not be aware of. So you can get all the classics like Watchmen, V for Vendetta, and things like that, Hush and everything in there. But if you want to branch out a bit into some different stuff, like I did with Far Sector, never read Far Sector, loved this. Full on Green Lantern sci-fi murder mystery. It's quite a length, but the artwork in this is incredible. The storytelling in it is incredible. If you didn't want to lay down a load of cash for like a premium hardcover or full format trade paperback on the glossy paper, with really good stock, these are a perfect way to get those stories into your brain. Thoroughly enjoyed Far. And I was surrounded by these things all the time, the individual issues, but because there's just such a glut of product, I missed out on a lot of stuff. So this is making it easy for me to catch up on these things without having to pay a ton to get the larger format physical copies. This one, the first one I got in the collection actually was The Authority, Relentless, and I'd not read The Authority before. I'd read a few issues here and there, but this by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch, this is, I would say, it's just fantastic. And paying $8.99 for it instead of a lot for something that thickness in premium format makes a big difference. And I think these are great for new and old fans. They are a great price point. We would always get, back in my comic shop days, people would always ask us, what would you recommend to get into comics? What would you recommend? Is there a graphic novel that I can try out that's going to show me what this stuff is about? These are a perfect way to do that. Absolutely perfect way to get into it without having to spend a load or really know anything about it. These are self-contained stories. They are complete and they are fantastic. Now, let's go and take a look at the rest of the range online. So I'm going to take a look at some of these titles that are available through the DC Comics Compact Comics range over on the Penguin Random House page, mainly because it's just laid out nicely. But this is a good look at what's been made available since the series debuted in summer 2024. And there's some great titles on here. There's not like lots of old titles, but there are some very, very important key modern era stories and some surprises along the way. So let's take a look. So we've got Injustice, Gods Among Us Year 1. Very different take on things, of course, based around the Injustice games. There's Batgirl of Burnside, which is a great run from Batgirl's recent history. Superman Red Sun, a classic story. What if Superman had been more of a Russian character instead of the Smallville type character? We got Gotham Central, got Green Arrow Year One. There's some really, some really special stories here. Of course, you've got Batman Dark Knight Returns, but then you've got some more, not left field, but not lesser characters. Just not Batman, not Batman and Superman. We've got Flash Rebirth, which is a great story. Nightwing Leaping into the Night, which was a great arc for Nightwing. We've got Batman White Knight, Batman Gotham by Gaslight. Now that's from a fair few years ago. That's an Elseworld story, but that is so cool, and it's really nice to have it in a compact edition. That's only a slim one as well. So while some of them, like the Authority, are quite hefty, Gotham by Gaslight is one that's quite a brief story, so that's perfect for taking travelling or anything like that. I'm not sponsored by DC at all, by the way. I just really like these. In fact, I'm more of a Marvel guy, more of an Image guy, but DC have really pulled me back into their universe with these titles. They're convenient. They're very convenient, and I'm really enjoying having them and collecting them. The problem is, every time I go in Forbidden Planet at the moment, I end up picking another one up because of the ease of access of them. They're really easy to get through and really easy to enjoy. So yeah, we've got the Superman Woman of Tomorrow that I've already mentioned, which I have the collection of here. Again, this is one of the briefer ones, but this is a perfect example of being able to get something that is beautifully realized. The art in these is excellent. The writing is exemplary. These are a perfect way to really delve into some of these stories that people talk about a lot. If you've not got round to them yet, if you haven't read them at all, if you've never visited these things, or if you want to revisit them, this is a perfect opportunity. We've also got some gorgeous stuff like We Three. We Three was an ingenious take on using the comics medium. Well worth a look if you've not read that one before, but you've heard of it. It's a cheap way to get hold of it. You got classics still like V Vendetta. You've got the first volume of Y the Last Man. The comics were great. Ignore what happened with the TV series. I know that wasn't great. But next to that, you've got Batman: The Long Halloween, which is one of the all-time classics of that character. You've got Harley Quinn, Wild at Heart. That with Jimmy Palmiotti. I can't say his name. Sorry, Jimmy Palmiotti, and who's the artwork? I can't remember the Amanda. What was her name? Remind me. Come on, remind me in the comments. Amanda Connor, yes, Jimmy Palmiotti, Chad Harron, and John Timms. This was a superb run for Harley Quinn. Fans are going to love it. She's done it more like a roller derby girl, I thought, in that run, but it's an interesting take on the character. You've got Batman Arkham Asylum. Again, a key story. You've got Wonder Woman Blood and Guts. Really good series that takes you more to the core of what made the Wonder Woman character interesting in the first place. You've got DC New Frontier. I've got DC New Frontier on my stack, and that is great. It's got that retro art style, the retro storytelling, and again, it takes everything back to what made these characters great in the first place. You've got Superman Batman, more of a modern one. I say modern, it's from like 2009 or so, if I remember rightly. That's what it's from the 2000s anyway, but it's a great run with Jeff Loeb and of course the late great Michael Turner helping out on arts there. The Authority Relentless, as I mentioned there. We've got Superman Birthright, Batwoman Elegy. If you've never read the Batwoman comics, if you've not been a fan of the TV show or the previous titles or anything like that, the Batwoman comics are beautifully done. They're so well written, they are so well illustrated, well worth a look. There's Deceased, of course, that's been a big one these past few years. But then you've got some more surprises. You've got some more surprises like Static Season 1. Static was great. You got Kingdom Come, an all-time classic with Alex Ross painted artwork. Granted, with Kingdom Come, this is one example where I don't think it's entirely perfect, but it is still very, very good, just due to the nature of Alex Ross's, painted art style and the watercolors and things that he uses in his art. It doesn't translate perfectly to the regular paper stock that's in these titles. It's still very, very good. But if you just want the story, check out that edition. But I would recommend with things like Kingdom Come, you may want to check out some of the more premium ones just to get the full effect of Alex Ross's art. Catwoman trailer, Catwoman, American Vampire Book 1, Harley Quinn, the Gotham City Sirens. Gotham City Sirens was a really good series, really interesting take on it. It's Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, of course. You've got Joker, we've got Hush, one of the greatest modern Batman stories ever. You've got Wonder Woman, Earth One, All Star Superman, Far Sector, as previously mentioned, Batman Court of Owls saga, and of course Watchmen. And there are other titles coming out in this series as well. So look out for more of these coming along the way. But these are just a great example of publishing done right. This is welcoming, this is inviting, and this is going to help new readers discover these stories. And it's going to help old readers rediscover these stories. It's going to save you some space on your bookshelves. They're easier to get on bookshelves than the full 7x10 ones, much as I love that format. And they are very convenient. It's not just a price point, they are convenient, they're nice to hold. Like I say, oversized manga. I think they're a bit bigger than manga. It's usually about that big, isn't it? About like that sort of size. But these are really well worth your time if you are a lapsed comic reader. Come back, check out what's been going on and the quality that DC has been putting out. If you are a new reader, this is a great way to find out what people are talking about when they go on about classic stories such as Hush or V Vendetta or indeed Red Sun. Anything there. This is a brilliant range for people to discover. And I hope you enjoy delving into these as much as I'm doing as well. Yeah, there's still ongoing comics and things like that, but these are a great way to find out what's been going on with that back catalogue and those key stories that people go on about a lot. DC Comics, Compact Comics, perfect for new readers, perfect for old, and now I'm going to go and carry on with my latest. Thanks for watching this episode of Planet Hex.